Okay, this is for the, if you have purchased or have a Harman kardon ST-7, if you're interested in one, I have them and I've rebuilt them all the way down to the circuit boards. I have also replaced the lights inside, and I did not use LED. I found it to be problematic because the lights and the light bulbs depend specifically on the 6-volt 40-watt bulb. You can find them. I forget the number. I'll list it somewhere. It's like G. I can't remember the number. I should actually know it, but I don't off the top of my head. Here it is, right here. It's written on the bulb. It is a GE 1300. Right. Yeah. I believe that's it. If you look up the ST-7 light bulb. Anyway, the machine will work with the red one out. The green one for the 33, if it's out, the machine will not run. And the same for the blue one. It will not run. There's also another one deep underneath here that has the cutoff light that picks the needle up. Now, if you receive the turntable, if you purchased it from me, the first thing I would say, anytime that you're going to play a record on this, start off by pulling the carriage all the way over and all the way back, and make sure that this little plastic grommet does not come out. Sometimes it gets stuck, and I don't actually want to use crazy glue or glue it, but you'll find that this will become very loose, this entire carriage, and the little plastic grommet will be somewhere stuck over here or something. This I leave here to watch this way I know the needle is moving as I'm setting these up. So, the first thing you're going to need to do is take the hood off, because if you've received this from me, then the tone arm will not be on the unit. I'm not going to ship it with the tone arm in place. It is done like this, pulling up, and just keep going gently, and you'll get the plastic off of it, the hood. Now, when you put the tone arm back in, screwing it in, you're going to have to balance your needle out. And I would recommend, by the way that this is done, you should be balancing your needle about at least once every 6 months, and double check it. I've included, if you've purchased it from me, I've included a scale. Okay? 2 things to look at, and I'm going to try to be quick about it. It's hard to do everything with just like this. Okay. Now, once you get the needle in and screwed in, right, you're going to try to balance your needle out, first of all, so that it just balances, right? And I'll try to give you a quick example. Okay, you see how now I've got the needle to where it's kind of floating. You see, it's kind of just, right? Okay, you're going to basically bring it down about halfway down the tube of the arm there. Raise the needle back up. Double check the scale that it's on 0. If you want to check a weight, use a nickel or 2 nickels. For this scale that I've given you, the 0 set is 10 grams, and that's underneath the tar feature. And you would put the 2 nickels on it, and that will give you 10 grams. Nickels are 5 grams each. So you're going to bring the needle across the scale, right? And you're gonna turn the thing on, the scale, and then drop the needle down onto the scale. And it should be somewhere about 125, 126. This particular needle, you have to check whatever the needle is on whatever the needle's downforce is, or tracking weight. I believe this Stanton, which is a nice old needle, is about 1.5, somewhere near there. Right, so I'll leave it at 141. Okay, and that's how that is balanced. Okay, secondly, something else you want to check. I've already said it, but I would check it. If you look, as the needle is now up, if I lower the needle, and I slide it over, it does not hit the rubber pad. Oh, yes, it did. Okay, so I have to basically adjust this screw, particularly that one right there. Okay, and it is done with, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a number 8 hex screw. All right, and you can just put it in there. If that is it, maybe that's not it. No, that's it. Okay, and tightening it, right, will then make the needle not travel down so low. What you want to avoid is that if some fool, whether it be yourself, your dog, whatever, is messing with the unit, it doesn't touch the ribs of the mat. Okay, that's pretty close. I'm going to give it one last little turn. Okay. And then I'm going to just give it one last little turn. Okay, and that'll raise it up enough again now. I believe you should... It's hard to hold the camera and do everything at once. You know, the drag. And there you see that really it's not touching. You want it as low as possible because when you put the record on it, the vinyl of the record, the thickness is what it's going to rest on. That's still too close for me. So I'm going to actually tighten it up again. I'm going to put it in once again. And if you watch, I'll tighten it and turn it at the same time. You'll see there. You see it go up? Now it is clearly, well, almost, a little more. I thought I was getting a shock. It's just that my hair and my hands. Okay, so now if you look, you'll see almost. It's a very fine line, but these are the setups that you need to do when you receive the turntable. Just check it again. I'm going to try to set it up perfectly, but in shipping, you know, things get knocked around and this type of thing. Okay? And that's basically about it. If any belts have fallen off, again, I've replaced all of the bulbs. I've even replaced the speed neon light that's underneath here. And what this does is this tells you whether you're operating on 33 or 45. All right, so if we turn off, maybe I turn this off. Anyway, we'll just go with it. By turning this knob is 33, this one is 45. I've replaced all the capacitors on the circuit board, so I know everything is up to speed. Now, if you see the thing going backwards, you're going too fast, okay? So you would go counterclockwise with the knob, right? And then you just get the strobe light to basically look as if it is standing still or as close to standing still as possible. And then that is 33. And if you want to go to 45, you can't just press 45. It doesn't do that. You have to stop the unit and then go to 45. Okay, and we'll take a look at the 45 window. Actually, it's the inner one this time. My camera's really dirty, huh? My finger's not going to clean it, is it? Okay, try once again. That's actually much better. You see, the 45 is the inner ring, and right now it's going too fast. It's going too fast. So we're going to go counterclockwise with it, and that makes it appear as though it is standing still. All right. It's funny how there's, but anyway, that's the one you're looking at. The second ring. Okay. Now if I stop it, okay, now both of them come to a standstill, and I go with a 33, it's the outer ring. You see? I stop it again, and I go with the 45, it's the inner ring. And that's how the strobe light works. I'll include an extra strobe light in the package just in case. It's a neon strobe. You just have to solder it in. It's not a big to do. To get the little 45 holder apart is a little bit of a trick, but otherwise not too much. Basically a good pair of tweezers. I'm really whacking this thing. So again, you start the unit up. Before you do, go all the way over. Go all the way back. Make sure that the retaining ring. This also cleans any dust that is on this arm off. Right. That's where I found a hang-up to be, is when this arm gets some type of corrosion on it or dust, it will cause a problem with it. Tracking. The way that it tracks is there's a roller here, and then this has a tire on it. And then when the tire connects to that roller, as the needle and the arm move, right, being as such like this, right, then the tire pitches itself over the roller arm, and then that makes it progress along the arm, right? So that screw at the bottom there changes the direction of the roller. If the carriage is moving faster than the needle, then you have to spin that with a tiny screwdriver just counterclockwise by, like, I'm going to say an eighth of a turn. That would be like the equivalent of 2 o'clock to 1 o'clock on an hour hand of a clock. Not even. Maybe do just 1 to noon. But right now, this is set properly, and it works because I've spent hours and hours and hours setting it up. Now, what I'll do here is I will go ahead and I'm going to run this turntable at 45 just so you can see kind of how it works. I'll probably speed it up a bit if I can speed it up. So here's what it looks like. Right, just imagine some jazz playing. Okay, whatever. But you see how that tape went up? That's the way that I can visually check very quickly that the arm is in fact moving, the carriage. So if you look, you'll see that the tone arm is sitting directly underneath the crook of that groove of this. This is where the tone arm settles or nests. When you lift it up, the tone arm will nest inside of that little groove right there. If it is, I'm just going to give you a quick example. All right, watch. If the tone arm looks like this, right, which, well, it's hard to do. Well, I'm actually pushing the whole freaking arm. If the tone arm looks like it's getting ahead of the needle, then you have to go counterclockwise on that screw behind there because the carriage is progressing too fast. If the needle is in fact like, let me just leave it like this. Let's say the carriage looks like this. Then you have to go with the screw clockwise. You see? Because the carriage is, the pitch of the roller that rolls, the pitch of the tire that rolls onto the roller is not pitching forward fast enough. So you'd have to tighten it, which will then make the carriage move faster. Eventually, you will come to a happy medium, which is where the arm will basically just track, at the perfect speed. So I might have raised up the needle too much. Yeah, I did. Okay, I can see that it's not catching the groove properly. Okay, so when I was trying to check it, let me just make sure here. All right, we'll take a look. See now, if you look, you can see that the needle's is too high. It's not sitting on the groove properly. Basically, here's what it's got to do, and I'll just be quick about it. If you look carefully here, right? I'm going to try to do this. The outside of the actual... Damn, man. The outside of the needle, the cartridge, should rest on the record. Okay? So lift the needle up, and you're going to go counterclockwise with this screw now a little bit, right? And then drop the tone arm down again. Okay? And then you let the now you'll see that the, oh man, it's hard to focus here. Yikes. You'll see that the actual outside of the cartridge is resting. It's hard to get that, huh? Is resting on the record, and that's it. If I move it over, it probably won't go down by much. No, now it's off the record, but you can see it's clearly in the right spot. So now we raise it up, move it over. I put my little piece of tape in line there just so I know, because I'm going blind. And then we go ahead and we drop it. And now you'll see the arm starts to traverse across the record, and it will generally lead a little bit before the carriage starts moving. Like, it takes a moment for it to get going. But there, watch the tape. Watch the tape. Watch, it's like an eclipse. And there it is. Well, I guess it didn't raise all the way up because it got bent. I bent it too much. But you can clearly see now it's moving away from it as we're talking. Right. And it will continue. And it goes all the way across the record. I wish I could make it go faster, but I'm not going to sit here for the whole record. So that's how that's done. That's basically the setup if you've gotten the turntable from me, or if you're looking to set yours up, that's how it's done. If you lost that cap, that's a problem. That was a big problem for me. Luckily, I have 3 of these turntables. 2 are ready to be sold. The other one I just have to work on a little bit more, but it didn't have that cap. That's a problem. So what I did was I still happen to have it right here, Play-Doh. I put it inside of an old peanut butter jar lid, flattened it out nice. I used that cap, pressed it down once face down with a little olive oil on it. Just a little tiny bit of olive oil. Just smeared all over it so it doesn't stick. And then I smashed it into the Play-Doh to make a negative. And then I filled it in with acrylic from a nail salon. Acrylic and the liquid, the accelerant. And then I just dabbed it all over the inside of the imprint. And then I sanded it down on the back once it was finished, because the back is very bubbly and on level, the part that's facing up to you. That part turned out nice. And then I went ahead and I did the opposite on the other side, right? Because what you're really looking for is the other side, because that has specific grooves that line up into there. You're going to have to do a little filing and sanding if that's the case. So that's how I did that for this particular turntable. Now you can see here's one of them, of the negative that I made that didn't turn out well because I used plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is unforgiving. Play-Doh, yeah, it works well. And that's what I came out with. I have to still do a little editing on it. I'm going to clean it up and then paint it, and then paint that silver, But what you're really looking for, Rabco is nice. You could just not even do that, is these particular grooves, specifically these 2. These are the ones that are the most important, right in the dead middle. The rest of them don't just hold it level. They don't hold the unit apart. So it's a problem. But anyway, that's how I solve that, because you cannot find that Rabco moniker there that goes on top of the carriage. You can't find it anywhere. I mean, just nowhere. And I don't have a 3D printer, and I don't know if you could probably 3D print it. Yeah, I'm sure. But I don't have one. I'm not going to buy one just to print that. So an easy one was to just get acrylic from a nail salon. A buddy of mine over there where I have my nails done, where I get my hair cut, they have a nail technician there, a nice guy. And I asked him about it because I was thinking about it as I was watching him do some work on someone's nails. I'm like, and that just gets hard. He's like, oh yeah, it gets hard instantly. You just put it on there and it's plastic. I'm like, interesting. What a great idea. Anyway, always remember to clean your records before playing them. Right? So anyway, that's the Rabco. I have gone ahead and I've added foam underneath this. You can kind of see it here. I'm going to use a razor blade to get it out of there. But I put foam underneath it in the groove here because it rattled remarkably quite a bit. So I used a tiny, tiny piece of like window foam, to seal a window crack. And that really helped. It really stopped the thing from rattling. And it was something that you could clearly hear when the record was playing. If you touch it, you hear like, makes just a sound that's rattling, and it really was a nuisance. So if you just touch the turntable as you're playing it, then it would make the sound. I'm going to try to get rid of this right now. I shouldn't do it with one hand, huh? But I'll do it. Where's my... It's probably easier if I watch it. At least this one. And now it's gone. Well, more or less gone. A magnified way in here. I'm like Hubble telescoping it here. Come on, bastard. Anyway, there, it's gone. Okay. So, this turntable is in very good shape. I polished the hood out to the point where it really looks brand new. I'm shocked. But, so that is how that works. Okay? I just showed you how to set it up. The other thing is disregard how the head shell looks. Care about how the needle looks. The needle is perpendicular to the record. Right? The head shell is not. It didn't. This needle did not fit on this head shell, right? So I had to do some adjusting to it. I don't care about the head shell. What you're caring about is the right angle from there to the record, right? The head shell is slightly up, but the record needle is pretty level. Well, maybe not. Gee whiz, I don't know. And you just need to turn it. You physically grab it with your hand and turn it. And, yeah, so there's my full explanation of this. I've changed all the capacitors. I changed all of the light bulbs. And this one had a broken or an unworking neon speed sensor. Okay, and I'll just kind of move the carriage along to the end, and as I say, cut to the chase, So here it goes. All right. I won't go that far. Okay, I'll let it go to... I put it to 33 because otherwise the carriage moves in so fast that you don't really see it move probably. But this needle will not move all the way to the center of the record. The carriage does not. It doesn't do that, and that's not what it does. Then you hear the... See? And then that's where it's basically the carriage will stop wherever the beginning of the outro groove begins, if that makes any sense. All right? So if you don't see your carriage parked all the way inside of the record, it's not going to, because that's not what it does. Okay? I'll just do it one last time here. God damn it. Now that clicking is done by the light that is on the inside of the unit there. There's an optical sensor, which you can almost kind of see there. Well, maybe if I move this back, I might be able to get a fucking deal with it. You can kind of see the optical sensor there. There's a hole inside of that, and there's a light that's above it. And then there's a bar that goes directly across it, which is that bar. You see that bar right there that's moving? as it goes over that light, that hole, then the arm, right, moves like this, and you see how I'm moving, and then it interrupts the light, whether it's the actual the needle going into the center of the record, like all the way into the center of the record, like if the information on the record goes all the way over from here, all the way to the dead center, it's gonna trip it. Otherwise, if it starts like that from there, then the whole arm clicks over. That's why, as you can see, it's beveled. So it almost comes to a point. So finally, if it makes it all the way to the inside of the record, if the information or music is on the record all the way into like here, then it's just going to get blocked out by it getting wider. So anyway, that's it. And this unit is done, and I've been working on it for a number of months, bit by bit, by piece, you know. And I have to say, I've gotten most of the dings out of it. The hood looks fantastic. This is the original belt. I'll give that to you. I already put a new belt on. If you have to take it off to put a new belt on, right, you're going to have to take this off, okay? And then you're going to have to take this cotter pin off. I recommend you put your hand behind it, because if you put a screwdriver in and you just try to crack it off, the thing will literally launch. Not only will you just lose it in your room or wherever you are, if it hits you in the eye or something, you know, it could be a bodily impairment there at some point. So basically, that's it. To put the plexiglass hood back on. Okay, last chance here. I'll just do it. It's tough to see it, man, to do it and hold the camera at the same time. Okay, it goes on the little knobs on both sides, and then goes all the way down onto it, and that's it. And you have to see, there's also, let's see, there's some there. No, that's not. Anyway, I have to mess with it. But boy, this hood turned out remarkably good. I kind of was shocked because I had polished it, and then put it away because I didn't want to get it any more scratched after doing so much work to it. It takes so long. And like, it's in such great shape. And the other one's even better. That's what polishing it with this does, with the drill and the 3M and then the Novus polish. It made it turn out really good. I mean, I was shocked. The other one that I have here from my other turntable, it's just gone. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Am I going to make one out of plexiglass? I guess I'll have to make it. I'll have to build it myself. But anyway, I have all the parts, and it's not a problem. I tried to glue it together just to get by, you know, like this or something, you know. It's close. It's over. I'm not going to give that to someone. Not going to happen. So that's it. That's how you set it up, and that's how you do all of the adjustments for the Harman kardon ST-7 with the Rabco linear tracking arm. Interesting build, interesting turntable, I have to say. It's a fantastic little unit. And this one is ready to go. All new capacitors on the inside, all new light bulbs. As I said, I will give you one extra light bulb here just in case something goes wrong. Otherwise, you can get them online for about, I don't know, $5 or something. But it has to be that light bulb. It can't be just any 6.3 volt light bulb. It's got to be that one that is 40 watts. 6.3 volts at 40 watts. Otherwise, which is a big mistake by the turntable company, by Harman Kardon, is you tied the speed and the functioning of the turntable to the light bulb. Don't think it's a good idea. I tried using LEDs, and it made the turntable run much, much faster. Right, because the wattage was not correct. I think those were like 10 watt, brighter than 10 watts in light, but being a LED, it only consumed 10 watts. And that made the turntable run way out of whack, so I couldn't use it. And I have a whole bunch of them. If anybody wants any 10-watt LED light bulbs at 6.3 volts, I have a whole pile of them. There you are, folks. Harman kardon ST-7.